Hi, my name is Marina and today I'll be talking about extraction. So extraction is a technique to separate liquids from each other. And in this experiment, the liquids that we were separating, they were organic liquids. So we were separating base from acid from neutral. And extraction basically consists of two things. First of all, we gotta really mix the two liquids together. And then once the separation of the two layers, we can extract our liquid that we want to extract. And so basically we have our organic solvent, and in this experiment we were using diethyl ether. And diethyl ether's density is very small, as we can see is like 0.71. So it's the layer on the top. And here we added the diethyl ether, and then we added our unknown liquid too. And then as we can see that our diethyl ether is on the top, and then our aqueous is at the bottom. And then here we added HCl to our solution. So once we added HCl will react with our base. And then, as we know, base and acid gives us a neutral and a salt. And then in this case, it gives an ionic compound, which is R group NH3. And then this ionic compound, this salt, it dissolves in aqueous. So what basically happens is that we have two layers right now. The bottom layer is our aqueous, and then this bottom, it has our salt dissolved in it. And then our top layer, it will still have our acid and our neutral. And then, so we remove our aqueous layer from the bottom, and then we add NaOH. So what happens is that once we add NaOH, it neutralizes it, and our base starts to precipitate. So once we added HCl to our base, we had to agitate our two layers, our organic layer and our aqueous layer. And the reason why we agitated it, because we wanted to make sure that the two layers are completely mixed in order to increase the surface area of our two liquids. And that way, our base, our ionic salt, will be easy for it to leave the organic layer and go to the aqueous layer. And here in my experiment, I didn't have a base in my unknown, and that's why I didn't get any precipitate here. And yeah. And then next step was that we add NaOH to our organic solution. And right now we only have neutral and acid, since we already extracted our base. So in my experiment, my unknown was tranexamic acid. And basically I added NaOH to my acid, and it reacted with my acid, and then I ended up getting a salt and water. And then so once my salt dissolved in my aqueous layer, which is at the bottom right here, next step, I will remove it, and then we'll see. And here I removed my acid, and then I added HCl. And then once I added HCl, it neutralizes the acid, so it precipitated out. And here I collected my precipitate. And one of my errors, or I made a great mistake here, is that the funnel had a lot of my precipitate out on the funnel, and I couldn't really get it. And this is one of the reasons why my recovery was pretty low. So here we're left off with our neutral. And our neutral has a lot of water in it, since from the beginning we had a lot of aqueous liquid inside of it. So we want to get rid of that water. So what we did here is that we used a drying agent to remove all that water from our organic solution. And then we let ether evaporate. That way we can end up having our neutral. And then here, as you see, that we evaporated the ether, and then we collected our precipitate, and in my case it was benzyl, and it was like a crystals. And then one of my huge mistakes is that since I know that ether evaporates really fast, I overheated it, so I evaporated my unknown along with ether. And finally, to know what was our unknown, we took our precipitate and then we measured it in that melting temperature apparatus, and then we compared those temperature that we measured here with the original temperature, and then we found out our unknowns.